Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this chilly Saturday morning. I'm super excited that you guys are here. Today, we're going to go over how to create a flawless face. We have about 30 minutes together today. If we run over a little bit because we have some questions, that's totally fine with me. So I'm going to take you through the basic steps. Now, you may think, well, I just throw on some foundation and run out the door. But then why does your foundation slip off throughout the day, right? So we're going to talk about skin prep, priming your skin, foundations, the different types, the different finishes, the tools that you should be or could be using, different undertones. If you never really had like a good foundation match where it actually, matches your neck and you don't see that, what I call like the line of death. And then concealer and setting and why you should do all these things. So I am going to share my screen. So I put together a little slideshow for you guys because some people are more visual and there's a lot of information to cover. So I just want to, let's see, speaker view. Let's see if I could pin my, okay. All right, great. So everyone sees me, give a thumbs up in the chat. And I am going to share my screen. So let me know that you could share that you could see my screen. That's over there. Okay. You know what? I should join this real quick. So does everyone see my screen? I'm not seeing the chat now. Technology, I tell you.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Great.
So
and you guys, okay, perfect. So I just wanted to make sure that you were seeing what I need you to see. And then you could see me on the side too. So if you're on your phone, you can, if you want to zoom into the screen and minimize me, there should be a slider, and even on your desktop, your laptop, whatever form you're on. So yeah, so we're going to be going on how to achieve a flawless face, how to make it last longer all throughout the day, the different finishes, and what you need to start with. So we are going to start with skin prep. So the first step to a flawless face quite literally starts with a good foundation. It's more than just makeup. It's skincare. So I'm not sure how many of you are on a good skincare program, but I'm going to share with you the 5 basic steps to a good skincare. And this is so important. Anytime that I have a model that sits in my chair, I need to make sure that I'm really prepping their skin for their makeup to last all day long. Now, if it's a photo shoot, you still want to prep your skin, but you don't need to take all of these steps to create your foundation base for longevity. So, but today I'm teaching you how to create a perfect flawless canvas for longevity. So let's see. The 5 basic steps to good skincare. How do I minimize this? Okay, perfect. So first, you want to determine your skin type. So there are a few different skin types. Now you generally might know what you are. So if you're dry all over, you know that you're dry. You can put on moisturizer and it instantly leaves your skin. So that is something that you want. You already know that you have. Then there's normal, where you don't have dry patches, you don't have oily patches. And there's combination. So you get oiliness. Generally, this is called the T-zone. So you generally get oiliness in the T-zone, and then you're drier around the rest of your face. So combination, you kind of have a best of both worlds of oily and dry. And then there's oily and just all over, probably within 30 minutes of putting your makeup on, you are an oily slick. So I'm going to teach you, basically there are different cleansers, moisturizers, toners, everything that is specific for your skin type. So there are 5 basic steps to good skincare. So you need to cleanse, there are different types of cleansers for every skin type as well. And if you have normal to dry skin, if you're using like a cream cleanser or an oil based cleanser, that is something that's going to be better for your skin type because it's not going to strip your skin of its natural oils. Now, if you have more combination oily prone skin, there are foaming cleansers, there are gel cleansers. And I'm not going to go into acne prone skin because I don't think we have anyone here with acne prone skin. But if you do, anything with salicylic acid could totally help as well if you have combination oily or acne prone skin. So that's really important to know, is because you really are starting with your base. You want to know that you're using the right types of products for your skin. So, and also how you can know that is after you're washing with your cleanser, does your skin feel uncomfortable? Does it not feel like either one, that it's not clean? That means that maybe it's not cleaning your skin well enough because it's not made for your skin type. Or if it feels way too tight and dry and you like cannot wait to put moisturizer on, that means that it's also not formulated for your skin type because it's not hydrating enough for your skin. So believe it or not, there are different types. So you're going to do that twice a day. The next thing is exfoliating. You could do this AM or PM. Some cleansers have exfoliators, like gentle exfoliators built in. And the reason why you want to exfoliate is because after cleansing, you want to remove layers of dead skin cells to relieve a fresh complexion that appears revitalized. So do you ever have where you put on your foundation, like everything just feels dull? Or maybe you just have a fresh face, you don't have any foundation on, and your skin just appears dull. It doesn't have like a nice glow to it. So this is because as we age, our skin has a harder time shedding that natural, like that dead skin, the dry skin and stuff. So you need a gentle daily, oh, Leah's here. You need a daily gentle exfoliator, or exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week with a chemical exfoliator or a physical exfoliator. So this is going to help your skin, the cells do its natural turnover that it's starting to lack over as the years go on. So you need to exfoliate. The next thing you want to do is tone. So there are hydrating toners as well. The reason why you want to tone, you're going to do this AM and PM, is because after exfoliating, you're going to wipe away excessive traces of makeup, oil or dirt with that toner, and it's going to help refresh the skin and restore a healthy looking complexion. So you want to do this before moisturizer. This is also going to help restore your skin to its natural pH balance, because we're all born, I mean, you generally, like, think of a baby's skin, right? Like their skin is super soft, it's going through its, normal process, and it's generally like a normal skin. It's not oily, it's generally not dry, depending. We do know that there are skin issues, but so we want to, everyone's born with generally with a normal pH balance. So what a toner does, it's going to bring that back to its normal pH balance. And again, there are ones for dry skin, normal skin, combination, and oily. And then you want to moisturize your skin, AM and PM, especially if you have oily skin, believe it or not. Because if you have oily skin and you are not moisturizing it, all you're doing is making your skin go into like fight or flight mode, where it wants to just produce more oil because it feels like it's not getting moisture. So there are different types as well. So if you have dry skin, there are definitely like emollient moisturizers, oils that you could use. If you have normal skin, there are richer, like a little bit thicker luxe moisturizers as well. And the price point doesn't really matter as much. Just know that you look at the ingredients and make sure you're getting a good quality product. And then for combination oily skin, generally the best kind of moisturizer for that is combination, is like a moisturizing gel. And then your final step is protecting. So the number one cause of wrinkles is sun exposure. And believe it or not, it's not from your genetics. Only 20% of your aging in your skin comes from your genetics. The rest of the 80% is up to you. So we can't blame our mother, or we can't thank our mother. It's all coming from what we do with our skin. So it's all environmental. So how you care for your skin. So you want to protect your skin with SPF. And it's not necessarily, especially in New York, it's not from the summer months where we're laying out in the sun. It's what's called incidental rays. So it's as we're driving in the car, we're walking the dog, whichever, that's where we're getting the most skin damage. So So that's that. So that is your 5 basic steps to good skincare. Now there are a lot of multi-purpose products so that you don't have to spend so much time and feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for 5 products. We totally understand. There are a lot of multitasking products out there that are really great as well. So the next thing we're going to go into is primer. So with primer, before you add your primer, you want to make sure that your moisturizer is absorbed in, because have you ever put on another product, like you put on moisturizer, you put on your other product, and then it just kind of like pills up, or it doesn't say, or it slips all around, and it's not like adhering to your skin. So you need to let your moisturizer, that 4th step, you need to let that absorb in. So brush your teeth, do your eyebrows, do your mascara, whatever it is. When I do my makeup, I jump around to all different spots and it's very methodical, even when I'm doing makeup on a model. So, and everyday women are also walking models on this earth as well. So you two are a model that I would work with. So a primer, what does it do? Why do I need it? It creates the perfect canvas for a flawless foundation application that enhances foundation benefits and extends wear. And there are so many different types of primers as well. They basically, like, you wouldn't paint a wall without putting a primer on first, right? So what it does, it could fill in imperfections to create that flawless canvas. And it's also going to extend the wear of your foundation, which I had just said. So there are different types of primers. So I have a ton right here. I'm not really showing specific brands. I'm just letting you know what's out there on the market. So there are mattifying primers, which like suck up excess oil throughout the day. So if you generally you get oily before lunch, or even by the time you get to work, if that's still a thing these days, there are mattifying primers. There are also luminizing primers, where when you put them on, they're going to give you like a nice healthy glow. There are hydrating primers. So this is more of like illuminating primer, and it's just going to give you that nice healthy luminous glow, and there are tons of them on the market. You just see which one works for you. There are also color correcting primers. So they're like a green one and a purple one. There we go. Green and purple. So green, if you have a lot of excess redness on your skin, or you have rosacea, a green primer is going to help even out the redness, because it's a neutralizer, so it's going to cancel it out. We won't go too deep into color theory today. This is just the basics. And then purple, if you have like really yellow, discolored, sallow kind of skin, where you don't feel like it's really bright, there's also a purple, like a lavender corrector as well, that's really going to help brighten up your skin tone. So that's what a primer is. And there's so many different kinds on the market. I have like a whole bag of them here, and they're just a few of them. There are different colors of luminizers and stuff. And a luminizer doesn't have to have glitter in it. A luminizer is something that just gives you that healthy glow when the light hits it. So that's why primers are really good. So, and then after your moisturizer absorbs in, you put in your primer, and there are also pore filling primers. So if you have like acne scarring on your face from when you were younger, or if you have like enlarged pores, there are primers too that will fill in those holes, basically like spackle. So it really gives you that flawless canvas to start with. So that, personally, some people will say you don't need a primer, but I'm letting you know I do makeup where it will go from, with the bride, from the morning that we do it at 8 a.m. and it'll last her until brunch the next day. And this is my method. So you can take it with it as we will. So next we have foundation. So why do I need it? It acts as an extra layer of protection against the environmental stressors that our skin experiences in day-to-day life. It also evens out your skin tone. And there are so many different kinds out there that if you're like, I don't really like anything on my face, I've had where I put 3-4 different kinds of foundations on my skin or on someone else's skin, and it still feels like skin. And that is going to be depend on how you apply it. So next I'm going to talk about the tools that you would use, but everything you do, you want to do it in light layers. So if you need extra coverage, you still could have a light coverage finish and add extra coverage in spots. If you like, I have some redness here, but you can't see because I covered it up with concealer, which we'll go into. So with this, you're going to determine your finish. Also, another thing with foundation, I like to say, like, if you were to go outside for the day, and you might come home and you're like, oh, well, I didn't need any foundation. Well, before you go outside, put a washcloth outside. Just leave it outside for the day, and then put a washcloth in a little Ziploc bag, like a little Glad Ziploc bag. Leave that outside. When you return at the end of the day, see if they're both clean. If they're both clean, free of like any kind of gunk and everything, then fine. You don't need foundation. But that's never going to be the case. The one that's in the plastic bag is acting as an extra layer of protection on your skin, protecting it from all that extra stuff that's in the pollution, the environment that's getting into our skin. So, and they have something like as simple as like a tinted moisturizer, a CC cream, and all that. So the most common I have here, you know, you want to determine your finish too when you're picking a foundation. Do you want it to be luminous and glowy? Do you want it to be super matte? And you can have whatever type foundation coverage finish that you want. You just gonna have to, if you are super dry skin but you don't like any glow on your face and you want matte, you just got to add more moisturizer underneath, like a thicker, richer emollient moisturizer. So this may sound like common sense because it kind of is, but believe it or not, a lot of people don't think about these things, and the process, it's basically like a science experiment on your face. So yeah, you determine your finish. Do you want luminous? Do you want matte? There are mousses, there are powders, creams, liquids, cream to powder. There are anti-aging foundations. There are acne fighting foundations. There are tons of things on the market, and you want to determine your coverage. Do you want like a light natural coverage? Do you want medium full coverage? I like a light to medium. So I like covering everything up, but if someone has freckles, I allow those freckles to shine through so that skin looks like skin, right? So matte is better suited for combination oily skin if you like an oil control. But again, if you want that and you have more of drier skin, you are just going to correct it with your skin prep prior. You're going to add more emollient moisturizers so it doesn't dry out your skin. Luminous foundation is going to give you, it's more for like normal to dry skin, and it's going to give you a really beautiful dewy finish. So a dewy finish, it helps you, it doesn't have to look oily, it doesn't have to look wet. Believe it or not, right now I put on a matte finish specifically for today. I've been doing dewy because I'm not going anywhere, but I did it how I used to do it when I was out in the world, and it's very matte. So, but when the light hits, you see the shine, you see the dewiness, but it's not transferring on my hands at all. It's all locked into place, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to show you quickly how to the different types of foundation. So these are some really common ones. So this is like a CC cream. There are tons of them on the market. So I just want you to see the coverage on her face. So you could still see that there are some, you know, brown spots, you know, some freckling and stuff like that, some discoloration. So this is the level of coverage that a CC cream might give. So you could see the difference between the two. I think it's really important to see the difference because sometimes we have no idea what we want until we see the finish and, you know, the results that you can get from it. So the next one, and it's super lightweight, it's really natural finish. A lot of them have SPF in it, so that's your protect step right there. And you just put it on after moisturizer. You can put it on in place of moisturizer because it does have hydrating, moisturizing benefits in it as well. So this is one of my favorite products. This is what I have on today. There's also a mineral powder foundation that's on the market. Go for one that's really finely milled because if you have drier, you know, more aging prone skin, it can just sit in your lines. So go for a mineral powder foundation that's really finely milled. So it goes through that process, and you'll know, like if you touch it and you feel that it is like really grainy, that means that it wasn't milled enough. It didn't go through that process. So this is something that is going to help it. But you see, it helps with a little bit more of the discoloration here. And it's not really settling into our fine lines here because it is finely milled. And it's a matte finish, but you still see some of her natural like glow and oils coming through. Then there's also the matte foundation. So this is, it really doesn't have any glow. The light is hitting here, but this is more of a matte foundation, but this is one that's still hydrating her skin while giving it oil control. It's humidity and sweat resistant. It's really, I love this kind of like matte foundation. It doesn't dry out your skin. And then this is a luminous. So luminous, you see it's giving a little bit more life into her skin. It's also a fuller coverage without looking like it's unnatural, because all here, you see the discoloration here. And right here, my screen is paused. Is it paused?
Yes, it's paused.
So that
we haven't seen any faces yet.
you haven't seen any faces yet?
No.
Oh boy. You're like, yeah, I don't know why it's, oh my goodness. Let me see. Resume share. All right, I don't, this worked yesterday. All right. Let me see. All right, stop share. Hi, I'm back. Let me, there it is. All right, so I'll just go over it quickly. So this is what I have on. This is CC cream. You still see some of her aging spots right here, some of like the discoloration, but this is the kind of finish that it would give. It's really natural. You can still see her skin. It's still breathing, but it's not covering up all those like that uneven skin tone. It's evening it out enough, right? You're seeing it? Okay, good. So, and then a mineral powder foundation. This is going to help control shine. So you see that it's not really sitting into her lines. It still gives a really natural finish. You can still see some of her, you know, her discoloration, but it's covering it beautiful and it layers well. Then this is a matte foundation. So you can still see some life in her skin. It's not drying. That's what I love. There are different matte foundations where it could be really drying and like almost lifeless. So that's not the kind of matte foundation you would want to go for. You want something that's still going to be long lasting and that's going to make your skin still look like skin while absorbing excess oil, or just giving you that matte finish that you want, like, because I do know a lot of people have dry skin that like a matte finish. Now this, you see, is giving more coverage on her face. You're not seeing the discoloration and the brown spots that are even over here. It's super evened out over there. So I'll even show you, right? It's beautiful. So, and it still looks like skin, and it's matching her neck. That's what we were talking about before. We want it to match your neck. So yeah, so this is a luminous foundation, and then this is a cream to powder. Now I'm just showing you ones that are really more popular on the market. Like not every brand has mousses, not every brand has creams and stuff like that, but creams, this is a cream to powder. So it's gonna go on like a cream, but it's gonna set to a powder. And I was gonna show you the application on like a clear acrylic palette, but for the sake of time, we're just gonna go on. If you guys have any questions as I'm chatting, feel free to put them in the chat. Oh, I do see the chat. Oh, you didn't see the faces either. Yeah, I'm so sorry. So I am going to now share with you. Nope. Screen share. This one. There we go. Okay, great. So that's on foundation. And you see this is also showing you the different kind of coverages that you're going to get. This is a powder. So you see it's a lot sheer, it's a lot more natural. And then these is more luminous. And I mean, you can't really tell that from the picture, but I know what it is. And these are the different tools that I'm going to show you. So, and the reason why your tools are so important, do they make a difference? Well, if you want more of a light coverage foundation, you can make your foundation really flexible, whatever you have in your arsenal right now in your makeup bag. You can adjust the coverage of it by the tools that you use. So if you use a damp cosmetic sponge or a fluffy brush, you're going to get a much lighter coverage. So this is, oh, I dropped that one. I personally like wetting it, so I put it underneath I put it underneath the water and I keep squeezing it till it's damp, that it's really getting it inside of there. And let me grab this one real quick. It just fell on the floor. So this is like the like an original size of it, and this is it with water in it. So it really plumps it up. It's a lot more squishy, but this one, it doesn't have much give to it. So this one is going to really make it look like a skin-like finish. This is how I prefer applying foundation. If you want a fuller coverage, you could use a foundation brush. So this is a foundation brush, it's angled, so it's going to apply the perfect amount of foundation onto you. So you could always start in the middle of your face, because generally in the middle of your face, you want the most amount of coverage. So I know I just stopped sharing. I'm going to show you just quickly. You could put it on the back of your hand. If you put it directly into your brush, you can lose a lot of the product. Now, so generally I like to like press it into the center of the face, down the nose here, and like really start in the center, and then drag the rest on the outside, because you generally don't need a lot of coverage on the outside unless you have more things that you need to cover up. And then there are also there are full coverage brushes that are more densely packed. Like this, it has more brushes in it. It's like less pliable. And now this is going to give you a fuller coverage. So with foundation brushes like this, or even like that has that paddle brush, which I'll show you again. With that paddle brush you guys are seeing, the one, it almost kind of looks like a toothbrush right there. That is something that I like to personally, like I'll pat it in and then I'll do it in like a circular motion. Me personally, if you want the most natural finish, and finish as in that it still looks like skin, you could have a full coverage and it still look like skin. I always finish every application with the damp beauty blender, a beauty sponge, cosmetic wedge, one you could get from the store that you throw out, or you could use it dry if you're using it to finish and you want to press the foundation into the skin. So you want to press it like that. Some people press and roll. I think that's a little excessive. You don't need to. Just press it into the skin. I'm not swiping because I really want the foundation to become like skin, if that makes sense. So, okay. So that's it for the tools. There are other ones on the market as well. These are the most common that I find give a really beautiful application. Now, have you ever gone into the store and you're just like, oh, I don't know what I am. I don't know what my undertone is. You just look at one, you do it to the back of your hand. The back of your hand is never the same color as your face. So you're generally forgetting to put SPF on your hands when you go out. So this is going to age faster. So what's my undertone? I want you to look down at your veins right here on your wrists is generally where you could see them. You might be able to see them on the top of your hand better as well, but I want you to look down at your veins. Now, if you see generally more blue tone veins, that means that you're going to have a cool undertone, which means that you're going to go for a foundation that's more pink undertone. So pink or red, if you have more of a deeper undertone, deeper skin tone, that's the color that you are. You are a cool tone. Also, if you burn really easily in the sun, that's also a way. Even having SPF on, if you burn really easily, you're a cool tone. So if you're like, I can't see my veins, that's another way that you can tell. If you're looking at your veins and like, no, they're all green right there, that means that you're a warm tone. So you're going to go for undertones that are either olive or yellow, or peach based. That's going to be for you. So green too. A green undertone a warm undertone means that you could tan so easily. You rarely ever burn. You just tan like that. Generally, like a lot of European skin, that is a warm undertone. Now, if you're a mix of both, like I'm a neutral. So I have blue and green. So there's my blue and then there's my green veins. Now, this means I'm neutral tone. So it doesn't mean I could wear a warm undertone or a cool undertone. It means I need to find a marriage of the both of them to have a good neutral undertone. Just a tip, a lot of the foundations at the drugstore, they are more cool tones. So they're going to be pinker. So if you have an olive warm undertone or even a neutral undertone, you're going to have a harder time finding a perfect foundation for you because they generally tend to lean really pink. So you ever put it on and it almost looks like your face is kind of like hot and like flushed. That means it's the wrong undertone. So you want to match it to your neck as well. That's how some people will match it to their chest. My chest and my neck are the same. So I match it here. The next thing is if you're like, I still am not sure. Like I feel like I could fall in some of those categories. Another thing that you could look at is what kind of colors do you gravitate towards? Do you gravitate more towards like golds and coppers and bronze and orange and red and stuff like that, like fire colors? Or do you gravitate more towards silvers, like even in jewelry? It could be in your clothing, it could be in your jewelry. So if you're more cool tone generally, that means like if silver jewelry looks better on you, and like jewel tones like blues and purples and those really rich, not bold colors, those really saturated colors. So does that make sense? I feel like that's been the best way to explain it. That really kind of helps people out. So let me know if that makes sense. And now concealer. I also made these diagrams, probably should have told you, but if you're like me, you screenshot as you're like on a webinar, because if it has some information that you'd like to refer back to, that's why I created this this presentation for you too, so that's easier to kind of refer back to. So concealer, do I need it? Well, you may or may not. So there are different reasons for concealer. You don't want to put it all over your face. I put this woman under here, applying it there, because I'm just telling you right now, that's already way too much foundation. There are so many tutorials out there that show you make a big triangle of your concealer right here. You don't need all that excess concealer. All that's going to do is make it look cakey and heavy, and it's going to highlight different areas that you don't want to highlight. So is there a difference between a color corrector and a concealer? Yes. So a color corrector, again, like quick color theory, is which you can refer to right here. I put it on the screen. So a peach is going to cancel out dark circles. So that's why, and not all dark circles. So if you without makeup on, you wake up in the morning and you see underneath your eyes, if you have a blue tone in your circles, that means you want to use a peach corrector. But if you have purple tones in your under eyes, a yellow is going to be much better for you. So a peach is going to cancel out most dark circles because most people's are blue undertone. If you have allergies, they're probably going to be more purple toned. So a yellow is going to be better for you, or mixing them. Orange is more for darker skin tone, as well as red. That's going to help with any discoloration and dark circles. Green is going to, again, it's going to target any redness on your face, but do it lightly. You don't want to coat your face in green if you do have rosacea. Yellow, it's going to help with overall mild redness on the skin tones, but also that if you have like deep purple marks or any bruising, if you were like had a wedding and you had like a bruise even on your body, you would correct it with yellow first and then put your foundation on top of it. And then purple, it brightens dullness on medium skin. Pink brightens dullness on light skin. So that's the difference between a color corrector and a concealer. You don't always need it, or you might need both, depending on which areas that they are. They also lift shadowy areas. So it adds extra covers blemishes, minimizes dark spots, and minimizes the appearance of puffiness. So I know my screen is lagging a little bit, but I just want to show you. So lift shadowy areas. So if you have like a bag underneath your eye, like puffiness, that you generally see a dark shadowy area underneath. Or even here, these are called your labial folds. Right here, you could have deep lines. You could put a concealer in there to lift that shadowy area, because what that's going to do, it's going to appear that that is now a flatter area. It's not sunken in, because lighter colors are going to bring it forward, and darker colors like in contour are going to sink things in. So what else? Okay, also, if you do have puffiness underneath on your eyes, never put the concealer on top of the puffiness. In doing this, all you're going to do is highlight the puffiness. So you have to be very strategic with it to put it underneath that bag to make that skin look like it's flat. Okay. Also, if you have dark spots on your face, you can help minimize them by like a peach kind of corrector as well, because that's going to help cancel out that darkness. And then you would put your foundation over it if you're covering blemishes. So there are plenty of, oh, actually I could show you this really quickly. So these two are, this is a color corrector, and this is a concealer shade. So I'll just put it on the back of my hand quick. So I put it right on top of my blue vein. This is a color corrector. This is peach. So I put it right on top of my blue vein, right there, and it's completely making the blue vein disappear, right? If I was to just put a concealer right on top of it, the blue vein underneath is going to look a little gray and ashy. So that's another reason why you would need a color corrector if you're not sure. So this right here, so you see this applicator? There are applicators like this in the store. This is called a doe foot applicator. There are ones like this where it has a sponge right on top of it. I personally don't like these. I feel like they harbor bacteria. I bought it for an experiment. Oops. But with this, I like that I just put it on different areas. If you have a breakout, whatever you do, if you have a teenager or if you have a hormonal breakout, whatever it is, do not put this directly on that breakout. What that's going to do is put, and a lot of people don't even think about this, and you'll still see people on videos show it, putting it all over their acne spots. All that's doing is putting that acne bacteria onto your wand and contaminating the rest of your tube. So that's something that is so important to be conscientious of. If you don't want to put it on the back of your hand, or you don't want to put it on your finger or something like that, put it next to it. So just say this is my beauty mark. So just say that was a blemish, like an acne spot. Put it next to it and then blend it into it. Because if you put it on top of it, all it's going to do is going to contaminate your entire tube and make it harbor bacteria. And then anytime your face may be clear after that, or your teen or whomever, and they're going to continually have breakouts until that tube is done, because you are continuing to put that bacteria onto your face. And it breeds bacteria, and it's not cute. So let me see. And then also, the way that I like to apply concealer, you can do it with a beauty sponge. So you could put it on underneath your eye or wherever you need to do it, and then just tap it in with the beauty sponge. Or to make it look even more natural, that's going to take off any excess. Another thing you could do is take like a rounded fluffy brush and really just buff it out, which I probably should have. There you go. You really just buff out that that concealer. That's what a fluffier brush is going to do. There are a lot of brushes on the market that are like this, and it says it's a concealer brush. It's like a flat paddle brush. All that's going to do is lay the product down, thinking of like painting a wall. It's going to lay the product down, but it's not going to pat it into your skin and make it look more natural. So if you wanted to go in with something like this, you totally can. and you could paint it on. But the way that you're going to make it look like skin is taking a fluffy brush and buffing it into the skin, like in circular motions or like swiping, or taking a beauty sponge and pressing it into the skin, preferably wet. I couldn't wet mine the other day, and I tell you, I don't generally have like super dry skin, but it made such a difference in my skin not having it wet, and my face looked patchy and not cute. So definitely prefer a wet, like a damp sponge, not wet. See, there's no like water coming out of this. So this is really good as well. And we went over that, and then, okay. And then we're finishing up here because I know that you guys, that we have 30 minutes together, and we did start a little late. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat now. And yeah, so I like to say set it and forget it. Why do I need to set my makeup? Because it's going to prevent makeup breakup. Do you ever have where it's like breaking up on your nose throughout the day? Setting it is going to help and prevent any breakup. It's going to control any shiny areas. So you might like a really dewy look, but there are things that you call, like we call hot spots, that if you take a picture, it's just the light is just bouncing off of your forehead or off your nose, your chin. Those are spots that you want to set with powder. It's also going to minimize creasing. So if you're like, I always have creasing underneath my eyes, what you're going to do is when you put your concealer on, you can even tap it in with the warmth of your finger before you set it with powder. And then take a brush. You're going to take a brush that is going to help you pat in that concealer with pressed powder. So this one is a little bit more tapered. So when that's going to help me really press into the makeup, it's going to help create longevity into your makeup, as well as make your makeup bulletproof. I've gone swimming accidentally with my makeup on, and it will not move. And then you're going to set it with the setting spray. So there are different types of setting powders as well. There are pressed setting powders that are white. Some of them can give a white cast, but you want to make sure that it says translucent. Like this one is okay if you go like that, if you have a deeper skin tone. See, it's like blending into my skin more. There are loose powders, translucent powders like this, and all you would do is take, if you really want to set your makeup with the most minimal amount of powder or even the most minimal amount of product on your face, you would take it like this. See, that's a lot. Always tap it off. Don't blow on your brushes, because blowing on your brushes is just going to put excess bacteria into it, and you don't need to. Always just tap off the excess, and you can just put it into your skin. And you see, it didn't leave any white cast on my skin. It took away any extra shine, and it's going to just lock everything into place. And that other brush that I was telling you about, this one, which is like this kind of shape, it's a little bit fluffier, a little tapered right there, but it fits so perfectly underneath the eye. I already set mine. Also, if you ever have like running of your mascara or eyeliner, it could be that it's not set underneath here, that there's too much moisture going into it, or even your own oils. So what you want to do is just press it into those areas. If you have glasses, press it right where the eyeglass piece is, and it's going to set that area so it looks like a flawless natural finish. I promise you, I did not wake up like this. And there are different setting powders on the market too. There are like yellow kind of base ones. This is like very rare that this looks good on someone. I would say if you're really like a deeper, like Middle Eastern, this is a really good under eye for you, but they showed it on Kim Kardashian, and then everyone bought it, and you don't need it. Translucent is the best way for a lot of people. And then there are some colored ones that you could get if you're trying to add coverage. So I do see some questions in the chat. I don't use foundation because no matter which tone or brand, they look so different from my neck that is a pale with cold undertones. However, my face has warm undertones. What can I do? Okay, Leah. Hi, Leah. Thank you, babe. So what you can do, I would actually recommend, if you are pink on your face and yellow on your neck. Oh wait, no, it's opposite. So my face has warm undertones and your neck is pink. Okay, so that does happen. I would try a neutral foundation. So also, if you just said that you don't use foundation just in general, I would recommend going with a either a neutral undertone, which means it's not going to be too pink and it's not going to be too yellow. You also can bring your foundation onto your neck. Now, you might be like, oh, I don't want that to rub off. That's going to look awful. As long as you're doing light layers, you could even like blend it in with your hands just to even out that redness. Because a lot of redness, if we're like a yellow or warm undertone in some areas, but we're red in others, that could be just like a hormonal flare. It could be like a skin irritation. And I have seen this on a lot of people as well. So the thing that I would recommend is going with a neutral undertone so that it's going to even out. It's not going to make it look too different. Basically, you could bring it on top, down onto your neck, but I'm not sure if you want to do that. So some people do. I personally don't usually. If anything, I'll put like bronzer on my neck if I went too ham with bronzer. But yeah, so that's something you could do. Another thing that you could do is getting a CC cream. So CC stands for color correcting. So when you put it on your face and then bring whatever excess is, like if you put it on your face, bring whatever excess is down onto your neck. And that is going to almost act like, do you remember the Polaroid pictures where you take a picture and you had to wait until it developed on your, you had to wait until it developed until you saw the picture? That's basically what a color corrector, what a CC cream should do, a good CC cream. And you don't have to break the bank with it, but you could try out different ones and see what works best for you and just research them. Or I hold personal makeup classes. So you could book a personal makeup appointment with me. I do like a shake up your makeup bag where we do a makeup bag makeover. We look at the things that are in your bag and see either how to use it, if it needs to be thrown out because it's expired, because makeup does expire. Also, and see like fill in any holes that may be in your makeup bag and things that are not serving you. You may have seen someone recommended it to you and it just didn't work for you. It may be past, returning it. So there are different things that I offer. And then I also do personal shopping. So we would have a consultation. You tell me the things that you like, and I would go shopping for you on the internet. And because I've been in the industry for over 15 years, I know the quality of different products, and I know a ton of different brands and I know ingredients. So yeah, so that's another thing that I offer. So you could totally feel free to book me for one of those, or just keep coming back onto these ones that the library is putting in. But if you want it more custom tailored to you, where it's just a one-on-one personalization, we could totally book that as well. So I'm going to put my information on the screen so you could grab it and you could totally decide if that's something that you would want to do. Let me see. Okay, so that is my information. You can text or call me anytime. There are a lot of like telemarketers, so I don't always answer my phone, but always leave me a voicemail. I always get back. I answer text right away. That's my email address, and just put in the subject, your name and what's something that you would like to do. And then that's my website. We are converting to Sarah Moss Beauty because, like I said before, it's more than just makeup. It's all starts with skincare and really good skin prep. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions? I'm trying to think if I covered everything. You're so welcome, Delia. Absolutely. My pleasure. I do find a lot of people, if you guys want to take a screen grab of this really quickly so you have my information or write it down on a piece of paper, I am happy to share that with you. And you could also, get into my inbox and just ask me a quick question, or we could even have like a 15-minute call on the phone. But yeah, so I am going to bring, let's see. Okay. So that's that for me. If anyone wants to come on camera,